Before we catch you up on the coronavirus news, we have to talk about the major story rocking the presidential race. Bernie Sanders has officially announced that he is ending his campaign. Yeah, and I gotta say, man, this is a big one. And even though Bernie lost 2 presidential races, you can't argue that he has had an impact on America. In fact, I would argue he's had more of an impact on America than some presidents have. Like, he's pushed Medicare for all into the mainstream. He shined a light on income inequality and how corporations have used money to rig the system in their favor. And he showed us all that it's okay to use our outdoor voice indoors. Yeah, that's not a thing. You can use your voice wherever you want. Like now! Now, Bernie aside, coronavirus is still the thing dominating the news right now. And of course it is. We're all stuck inside. But before we get into the latest headlines, let's catch up on some fun news in our ongoing segment, A Ray of Sunshine. All right, in our first bit of good news, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter and world's richest barista, has announced that he will be donating $1 billion to help fight the coronavirus. That's 28% of his wealth. Yeah, and that's amazing. Using your money to fight coronavirus. And what better person to fight a thing that's poisoning society than the inventor of a thing that's poisoning society? Now, I'm just being a hater, man. This is incredible. Like, for real. It's incredible because it's generous, it's a powerful gesture at a moment like this, and it's also throwing shade, so much shade, at Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos. Because they also donated money, but they donated way, way less than Dorsey, and they've got way, way more money than Dorsey. Right? He donated like 30% of his net worth, and they donated less than 0.5% of their net worth. It's like if the check at a restaurant came and everyone else tips $5 and then you buy the waiter a Lamborghini. That's basically what Dorsey did right here. Yeah, thanks, the service was great. Oh, my friends, yeah, they're just cheap bitches. You know how it is. Now look, not everyone has $1 billion, which is why people around the world have found all sorts of ways to try and stop the spread of this disease. For instance, you know how we're all stressed about making sure that we keep 6 feet between ourselves and other people when we're out in public? Well, some amateur inventors have come up with their own novel solutions.
This man's wacky social distancing device is going viral. He designed this contraption out of tent poles and duct tape in order to know exactly how far away 6 feet is.
Okay, that is a super smart idea. But I will say it could have been a lot easier. I mean, it's cool to have the disc and everything, but all you have to do to keep people from coming near you is just carry a clipboard. Yeah, and then you just ask people if they have a few minutes to save the environment, and everyone will stay at least 6 feet away. And keeping people 6 feet away from you is a great idea until you need to get close to some people because they're delivering your food. So how do you solve that problem? Well, 2 heroes in Missouri, they totally figured it out.
A woman in Missouri is taking no contact delivery to the next level. This is video from TikTok user Tracy. She and her roommate set up a pulley system to get their pizza without ever having to open their door. They did it all using a box and some heavy-duty yarn. They just put the cash in the box and they lowered it.
Tell me that is not genius. Like, what else were they going to do? The only other solution would have been to just have the delivery person leave the food at the door and then wait 15 seconds for them to leave. But there's no fun in that. And what an emotional roller coaster this must have been for that pizza. You don't think about that. One minute the pizza was in there all happy, like, it's happening, I'm going to heaven, I can feel it, I'm floating, no, why is she eating me? This is the bad place. Now I know what you're thinking. Trevor, how am I going to work off all of this pizza that I keep ordering at home if I can't get to the gym? Well, here's a question. Why make it to the gym when you can have the gym make it to you?
One man not letting his gym closing down keep him from getting in a good workout, so he turned to nature.
Yeah, Zachary Skidmore got a chainsaw out and went to work, built himself what he's calling the Lumberjack Gym out of logs from his farm. The Lumberjack Gym includes a bench press, squat rack, leg press, dumbbells, yes, even a treadmill, and it's all made out of wood.
That is impressive. Because if I built a gym out of a forest, I wouldn't have energy to work out because I just built a gym out of a forest. And this guy's attention to detail is truly impressive. Did you see all the pieces? He's got the bench, he's got the leg press, he's got the squat machine, he's got everything you would find in the gym. Yeah, he even made the old man in the locker room who refuses to cover up his balls. Yeah, that was really intricate. Like the detail around the testicles, that's a lot of wood chipping right there, my friends. Also, this is a great idea until the animals discover this forest gym, because our one saving grace as humans is that animals don't really work out. Can you imagine when the bears discover this and get jacked? It's over for us. All right, that's it for the good news. Let's get into the big story of the day. Let's talk about black people. They're like white people, but with seasoning. In America, black people have had a long history of getting the short end of the stick. From slavery to Jim Crow to the criminal justice system to the sunken place. But when it came to the coronavirus, it seemed like for once, black people were catching a break.
A lot of these viruses we're immune to.
Yeah.
Because our skin is radiant and our skin comes from the sun. Mm-hmm. That is our superpower, melanin.
Black people, we will not get the coronavirus because we got a little thing in our body where we call the melanin.
Minorities can't catch it. We straight.
They say that one more time?
Minorities can't catch it.
Minorities can't catch coronavirus.
Nah.
Why do you say? Why do you believe
Name
that?
one.
I don't know, but it could happen.
Name one, though.
It could happen.
Name one of us.
Yeah, when this whole pandemic was just kicking off, many people thought coronavirus was something that just didn't involve black people. Sort of like tennis elbow or Tiger King. Very quickly, we've come to learn that not only can black people get coronavirus, it turns out that black people are being hit harder than anyone else in America right now.
With the rate of infection increasing in cities across America, there are alarming new statistics showing the pandemic is taking an especially heavy toll on minority communities.
African Americans account for 41% of COVID deaths in Michigan, though only 14% of residents. In Chicago, black residents represent 72% of deaths, but just 30% of the population.
Louisiana's population is 32% black, which accounts for about 70% of coronavirus deaths.
The disparity in deaths among African Americans there is startling. The data is clear. Coronavirus is disproportionately impacting and killing people of color.
That's right. As America has become the epicenter of the coronavirus worldwide, Black America has become the epicenter of the virus's worst effects. And this has become such a major problem that even President Trump has taken notice.
In the US, African Americans are dying at a much higher rate from COVID-19 than other groups. President Trump calls it a real problem and a tremendous challenge.
This is something that's come up, and I don't mean by a little bit. I mean many times. It's a real thing. Now, why is it that the African American community is so much, numerous times more than everybody else? Why is it 3 or 4 times more so for the black community as opposed to other people? It doesn't make sense, and I don't like it. And we're going to have statistics over the next probably 2 to 3 days.
It almost sounds like Trump is jealous that black people get coronavirus more than anyone else, just because of the way he said it. How come black people are getting it and not me? What do they have that I don't have? Is it swag? Is that what it is? Is it caused by swag? No, but look, obviously I'm joking. I'm totally joking, man. If anything, it's refreshing. It's honestly refreshing to see President Trump so concerned about the black community. But when he says it doesn't make sense that coronavirus is hitting black Americans the hardest, it's actually the opposite, right? Because when you look at the systemic and socioeconomic factors facing black people in America, it makes complete sense. You see, overall, black people are less likely to have health insurance. Black people are more likely to have pre-existing conditions like asthma and diabetes, and those things make coronavirus more lethal. Black people are also more likely to be in service jobs where you can't work from home and you have to come into contact with lots of people every day. And of course, there's always just straight up racism that affects black people as well. For example, one study has found that black people have been less likely to be offered a coronavirus test by their doctor, even if they're exhibiting the same symptoms as white patients. Yeah. So while almost every industry around the world is shut down, it looks like racism is still considered an essential service. And racism is even affecting whether or not black people can protect themselves and cover their faces when they go outside.
Jody Armour is a law professor at USC Law School. He and other academics believe wearing masks can pose a problem for people of color.
The fear of being mistaken for a dangerous criminal may be greater than the fear of contracting COVID-19. Wearing protective masks while black is a concern just like driving while black is.
This officer right here behind us, he just followed us from outside, told us that we cannot wear masks. There's a presidential order, there's a state order, and he's following us right now to the store. We're being asked to leave for being safe.
Come on, man, this is some bullshit. If black people don't wear a mask in public, what's gonna happen? People are gonna say they're endangering public health. But then if black people do wear masks, then they're treated like they're preparing for a mission in Red Dead Redemption or something. Like, what do you expect black people to do? At this point, the only safe way for black people to cover their faces in public is to try and disguise themselves as a white person. And I'm not talking about code switching. I'm talking about actually putting on a white person's face as your mask. Some people will be suspicious, but it'll work. Hey, you look white, but there's something off. Say something only a white person would say. I wish Kamala Harris was back in this race. Checks out. I'll see you at hockey practice, buddy. So look, the unfortunate truth is that the black community is being slammed by coronavirus right now. But in a way, it's not because there's anything special about coronavirus. It's because any widespread crisis in America is bound to hit the most vulnerable and disadvantaged groups the hardest. And yes, I know this is depressing, especially right now. I mean, you don't want to deal with coronavirus and racism at the same time. It's like two Marvel villains coming into one movie. We don't have enough heroes. What we do have is real-life black people showing how resilient they are. And one of the videos that gave me the most joy is this viral video of a group of black people throwing a social distancing block party that, I won't lie, brought me a little bit of joy.
What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Ah, yes. I remember when the only thing in the air we had to worry about was 24 carats of magic. Those were the good old days. Well, that's our show for today. Before we go, as always, I would like to remind you that as America reaches peak corona infections, the doctors, nurses, and first responders in this country need our help. So please, go to Thrive Global's First Responders First and donate whatever you can to help them get the masks, gloves, and gowns that they need to save lives. And if you want to help in New York City specifically, please go to the New York Mayor's Fund, COVID-19 Response, and donate there. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Remember, you can freeze your toilet paper to make it last longer. And I'll see you again tomorrow.